We're back. A lot of excitement on the Plains, recruiting, the opening of camp, the offense set for a massive leap. We chatted with Mike Gittens down in Dallas from War Report. Always good to get more information. And Mike, thank you very much. Good to see you again.
Thanks for having me, Paul. Busy day here in Auburn, Alabama. Spending some time with Auburn women's basketball today over here at Neville Arena. And Auburn gets camp kicked off tomorrow right across the street at the complex. So we're looking forward to seeing what Hugh Freeze has to say about his team tomorrow morning.
So let's start with the offense because clearly it has to get better. I know you would agree with that.
It definitely has to get better. And Hugh Freeze thinks he's accomplished that. He did not have a lot of faith in the pass catchers last year. So he went out and he talked repeatedly about having pass catchers with catch radius. So he went out and he got Keandre Lambert-Smith from Penn State. They've got Cam Coleman, who is, we talked about this during media days, Paul. Can't remember another recruit that Auburn fans have been more excited about in the last 15 years. So it's going to be exciting to see what he can do. And then, obviously people are going to be watching Payton Thorne. I think the key to moving the offense forward is putting the ball in Payton Thorne's hands more. Now, Hugh Freeze said, look, he hopes that the strength of his offense is the run game, but he also had a record low pass attempts for his QB at 260. That can't happen again. They're going to have to throw the ball more, and you brought in one of the best wide receiver classes in the country. They're going to have to show them off if they're going to want to continue to recruit those guys.
Mike, I know this is an old question, but Payton Thorne had a backstory. He had a lot of experience, and I'm sure that plays into it. But what are the other options if this does not go well?
Oh, right now, I think the primary option is going to be Hank Brown. Now, we saw some of Hank Brown in the bowl game. He went 7 for 9 for over 100 yards in just about a quarter and a half. But they like him. They like Hank Brown. They think he's a gamer. But he was unable to overcome the experience of Payton Thorne this offseason. They like Thorne. They just think that most of his problems were the pass catchers around him. If he's not there, if he doesn't get it done, Hank Brown has excellent rapport with these wide receivers. So I think Hank Brown would be the next off the bench.
And you mentioned the receivers, certainly an upgrade there. Everybody's excited about Cam. I mean, Auburn's had a few big-time recruits over the years, but describe what you're hearing about him. You'll see him obviously in the next few days, but what, other than the fact that he was so heavily recruited, what excites Auburn fans and coaches about him so much?
Cam Coleman is superhuman, Paul. He, as a freshman, is going out there and he's making plays like he's a veteran. Now, we saw that on display at A-Day. Every quarterback that got a chance to throw it up to Cam Coleman did. He came down with 50-yard catches, with touchdown passes. He made every kind of catch you could make as a wide receiver. And he projects to start from day one, which I think says a lot about the true freshman. It's not just that they felt like, hey, these other guys weren't as good. It's that we think Cam Coleman is that good. And Payton Thorne talked about playing at Michigan State and having guys like Keon Coleman, who he said when the ball was in the air, it wasn't 50-50, it was 80-20 for those guys. They think Cam Coleman is an 80-20 guy. So they think Keandre Lambert-Smith is an 80-20 guy. And then even Robert Lewis, a transfer from Georgia State, they think that he's going to come in and do some real good things at the slot there. So a lot more faith in the pass catchers, I think, is going to lead to a lot more attempts for Payton Thorne to prove that he can do it. And if he can't get it done, then we'll see what Hank Brown can do.
Our last two images of the defense weren't great. It was the gravedigger and then the just complete annihilation in the bowl game. What should we expect from this unit?
I think that all eyes are going to be on Eugene Asante and Jalen McLeod. Auburn has got to improve the pass rush this year. Those guys project to be able to get after the quarterback. Eugene Asante and Jarquez Hunter, Paul, were the only ones that got voted preseason all SEC. But look, Jalen McLeod, I think, is primed for a breakout season. And Ron Roberts, I thought he did a decent job last year with this Auburn defense. They had 6 games where they held opponents to less than 2 scores, less than 14 points. So it'll be interesting to see if they can maintain that same type of defensive intensity. But, we'll see what they can do. I think that the defense is going to be a little better than people are projecting.
Mike Gittens with us. Mike, I want to get off the field for just a second because I'm not down there, so I see headlines. don't really know what to make out of them. But it just seems like the momentum from Big Cat Weekend and on the recruiting trail is really soaring right now. Describe it for us.
Oh, man. Hugh Freeze got hired primarily for this reason. Now, the last coach took a lot of heat, Paul, for not putting effort and enthusiasm into recruiting. That's not lacking with Hugh Freeze and his staff. They're doing an amazing job. So not only are they landing big time recruits, I think they're bordering on, if not top 5 right now, depending on which service you look at. But they're flipping guys back from Alabama right now. So this was a prime opportunity, I thought, for Hugh Freeze to take back the state of Alabama in recruiting. For Auburn, it's always started right here at home. You've got to be able to recruit the state. And Saban was taking who he wanted for a long time. Hugh Freeze has decided that that's no longer going to happen. He did a great job in year 1. They're doing an even better job in year 2. And I think that going out into the future, he believes that if he can establish 2 more recruiting classes, Paul, like this, that Auburn will be formidable to come. I saw Hugh Freeze on the court at the SEC basketball tournament, and I asked him, when can Auburn fans expect to celebrate your next SEC championship? He looked me dead in the eye, and he said, I need 2 more recruiting classes, Paul. The portal is not the way to do it. It's high school recruiting has got to be the base of what you're doing. They're putting all their focus there, and I think they're being really successful at it right now.
And Mike, if you flip somebody in July, that doesn't mean they can't flip back. But I want to dig into this, because when you see a headline that Alabama loses a player, especially a couple of players, to Auburn, we go back in time, because it didn't happen for a very long time. What's at the base of that?
I think that right now, with the combination of NIL and opportunity right now, it's not the same Alabama, and Auburn is not the same Auburn to a large extent. So you're seeing kids see that once they get them on campus. Hugh Freeze has been able to sell them not just on early playing time, but on a vision for what their career could be here. And if you take Nick Saban out of the equation, I don't think it's the same sell at Alabama. I think they're leaning a little bit more on NIL than they had to in the Nick Saban era. And Hugh Freeze has got both of those things at his disposal right now. With early signing day, you're going to see these July and August commitments, Paul, I think mean a little bit more, because kids want to know where they're committed if they're going to get into spring ball here in a semester. So I think it means a little bit more that they're flipping in July and August.
Mike, I haven't heard talk like that in a long time. If you're an Auburn fan, you have to be fired up. Thank you. Fantastic conversation.
I appreciate it, Paul. Thanks for having me.
Mike Gittens joining us. And he has said something there, and I'm sure it will not go down well with Alabama fans, but it's not the same Alabama. That's not what I'm hearing from Alabama fans who feel like their guy is recruiting at an elite level, which he is. But the fact that you could flip a couple of guys is an indicator that at least there are battle lines being drawn. We'll take a short break. More of your phone calls right after this.